Hey guys, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, it must be time for more RimWorld. I'm very excited about the Wild Pants. I think the Wild Pants colony is going to be even better than the last one was. I don't actually remember what the name of that colony was, but it was very exciting, and this is going to be even more exciting. Right, this time, this week, Willow, welcome, welcome. Not only on time, but first in the door, Willow. Not only on time, but here first. I'm kind of feeling vaguely Perturby, welcome, always lucky, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm kind of feeling vaguely this week I might need to pay slightly more attention to RimWorld. We'll see how it goes. Bird Brains, welcome, Tinty, welcome, welcome. Pulled me away from watching Ostrib for this. I did. It's got farming in it, if that helps, Tinty. It's got farming in it. I mean, I've got corn. There's corn right here. The corn is actually coming along very nicely. It's almost grown. I'm not really sure why we're not sowing these areas. I kind of had to force them to harvest it the last time. Seraphix, welcome. Diamond, welcome, welcome. Oh, what a huge crowd coming in right away. This is awesome. I love doing RimWorld with you guys. I really do. So it's nap time for all the kids. Reed, I wanted to address you first. 6.4 resistance remaining. You're going to be on our side in no time. And what was I working on? I'm getting the stone cutting bench going. That's a positive thing. Somebody needs to get over here and finish the second cooler. Mel, welcome, welcome. Finish the second cooler because it's 72 degrees inside the air quotes freezer. So somebody needs to kind of get going on that before we lose all our meat like we did in the heat wave. Always lucky. You just got this game today. Oh, wow. I wish I could have that moment back. There's a few games where I just wish I could play it for the first time all over again. And we all saw my first time at RimWorld. Let's be very clear. My first time at RimWorld is up on the channel. It's a playlist. And it crashed and burned so horribly. Penge, oh my goodness, the Geek Cupboard is here. Penge, I thought the last thing you would want to see is some RimWorld right now. You should try it, Penge. You know what, Penge? Here's what you should do. Give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. See if you like RimWorld. If you do, maybe go ahead and do it for like 80 episodes or something. Maybe make it the most videoed, most recorded thing on your channel, the longest running series on your channel. Birdbrains, you've had no power for 3 days? How are you watching me? Surely, if you have a mobile device of some sort, you would have had to plug it in and charge it. Are you made of magic? Please say yes. Please say yes. Seraphax says I did great my first time. I think I did very typically my first time in RimWorld in that everyone died in horrible ways. Just horrible, horrible ways. It was just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Willow had just finished watching another video and saw this one all morning long. I think kept thinking today was Monday. Well, I'm glad it's Saturday and not Monday. That would be good. It's much better if it's better than the other way around, where it is Monday and you thought it was Saturday. That would have been terrible. We Hours and Geek Cupboard should do a multiplayer stream on this game. There is a multiplayer mode. There is. I've been reluctant to do it because I'm not so much with the modding. I'm always kind of tentative about downloading stuff that I don't know where it's coming from. I know, most mods are very fine, good things, and they're just perfectly appropriate. There is a multiplayer mod for us. The Granite Accidents have been doing it. So Gremdevel and Civilian have been doing some multiplayer RimWorld. I have not done that. Oh, hang on. All right, Rare Thrumbos I don't need to deal with because we have no ability to tame them. What is Ship to the Stars? Ah, that's the AI one. Okay, fine. We can just sit on the AI one. We can just sit there. So we don't need to deal with that right now. I have the Vive, but I like PC games more than VR games. I love VR. I want to see where the tech goes with it. There's very few really, really good VR games. There's a lot of garbage out there. There's a lot of people who are just churning stuff out. There aren't a ton of like really, really good ones out there. Oh, my stone cutting bench is done. Good. Good. I like making things out of stone. It saves on the steel. So why don't you guys make any stone blocks you want? Make anything you pick up off the street. Just go ahead and carve that into a brick, please. It is tricky to set up. Yeah, and that's I've heard that. I've heard Gremdevel and Civilian saying it's a little tricky to do, but they are doing it. So if you're looking for, well, someone who's not me, basically doing some RimWorld multiplayer, Civilian and Gremdevel have got some things up, so you can go to either of their channels and check it out. So yes, Penge, you can do multiplayer RimWorld. Who was... I don't even know if they're in chat now. Somebody suggested that Penge and I should do sort of a... I don't even remember what the game was. It might have been RimWorld, or it might have been something similar. Like a back and forth kind of thing where we'd send the save file to the other person, and they'd do a video on it, and then that person would send the save file back to the first person, and they'd do a video on it. So you wouldn't really know what you were getting. I'm pretty sure it was about RimWorld. I'm pretty sure somebody says, why don't you do sort of a Mad Libs version of RimWorld, where you send each other the save files and they don't know what the person is getting, and then they can mess with it and send it back to the other person. I thought it was a great idea. I think it sounds very tricky to execute, but I thought it was a fantastic idea. I don't think his VR is there for me yet. Not sure why. A lot of people swear they feel like they're in the game. I just feel like I'm staring at a screen really close to my eyes. Hit or miss, Seraphex, and that just goes back to some games are better than others. Fallout 4 VR, you absolutely feel like you're in the Commonwealth. I'm going to tell you that right now. You absolutely feel like you're in the Commonwealth. It's eerie. It's cool. It's incredibly cool. The first time I fired it up, and I was in the vault, not looking at the vault, I was in the vault. It was really, really cool. Unfortunately, Fallout 4 VR, because it's Fallout, has about 20 zillion controls to it, which are really, really easy to do when you have a controller and you have a whole bunch of buttons. But when you're working with a VR handle and you only have like 4 buttons and you're going through submenus, that was the problem. Fallout 4 VR is an amazing walking simulator. If you just want to walk through the Commonwealth, it is brilliant. If you actually want to play Fallout 4, it's a little trickier. Exotic Goods Trader, that's excellent. I'm into exotic goods. I like those. Oh, and one of them has my name. I'm going to be trading with myself. It's David the Trader. Oh, neat. That's fun. We're going to trade with me. I'm going to go see what me has. And then maybe I want to trade with me. They do that in Dwarf Fortress, where each person plays for a set amount of time. Next person gets a quick summary of what happened and tries to continue damage control. Yeah, it was basically that. But it was sending the save file to the next person. Again, I don't know how to execute that. It sounds really sort of above my pay grade in terms of what I know how to do. But I love the idea of it. I think it's an amazing idea. I think not just between 2 people, but if you could get like 4 or 5 people to do that, that would be an amazing series. Especially if you did it with something like RimWorld, where it's so random sometimes that you have no idea what you're going to be getting. Other games would be, I think, a little bit more predictable if you sent them to the other person, like, oh yeah, well, he's going to do that thing, obviously. But RimWorld, you have no idea what happened the last time. So that's very cool. Who's my best chit-chatty person around here these days? Social 8, Social 11, looking good, Kalian. Social 10, nice. I have some social folks. Okay, you're terrible. You should never talk. I don't think you ever do talk, Weber. You have a social of 0. You actually can't form a sentence. But Yeoman Painstingle here, you can go chat them up. Actually, Kalian had 1 point higher, so we'll send Kalian over there to deal with that nonsense. All right, I don't have a lot of money, per se, and I haven't really crafted anything, so there's probably not much I'm going to be able to buy. I did find some gold. I mean, I don't want to trade away all my gold, but it is very early in the game. I have a lot of opportunities to get more gold as time goes by. Obviously not going to need gold until quite later in the game. Okay, what have you got? Psy Trainer for Word of Joy. What the heck is that? That's got to be in the new update. Once released, the Mechanites form knowledge of specific ability. Right. What is a one-use superdose? I get it. I just don't know what the ability is. Word of Joy. If anyone has played around with the new update that just came out, this has got to be in it. So if you know what word, I mean, I can take an educated guess about what Word of Joy might do, but I don't know what that ability does. Suggestion was made in Prison Architect. That was it. Thank you, Mel. That's why we rely on you, not just for the blinky lights, but also to remember what the heck I talk about sometimes. Thank you, Mel. So yeah, it was Prison Architect. I actually, now that I've said that out loud, I think it would work better with RimWorld because of the randomness of RimWorld. Not only would you not know what the other person is doing, you wouldn't know what happened. So there could be some catastrophic event, or there could be a really good event, and you would have no idea. It's much less predictable than Prison Architect might be. You've got some plasteel. Speaking of late game stuff, oh, you have a prosthetic arm. You have venom fangs. I never use those properly, but I love the fact that they exist. I might get venom fangs for somebody. I kind of like the idea of King Painstingle biting people with poison. It's not even that pricey. It's $4.15. Do I have anything I can sell you? I'm not selling you any components. I could sell you a bunch of gold. It's very early game. It's very early game. Makes people happy when people chat to them. Yeah, that's what I thought, Birdbrains. It's got to be something... It's a psychic effect. So I kind of almost want to get it just to try it out. Oh, and if anyone can confirm, so I have a side game going with the new update. The jump packs are new, obviously. We've got jetpacks in RimWorld now. I didn't actually ask for jetpacks, but we've got jetpacks now in RimWorld. I have noticed the first few traders that came up, they all had the tech print for jump packs, which I get because it's new and they want to show it off. I have noticed they have no other tech prints available for sale. And I'm wondering if the game is kind of forcing you to buy the jump pack thing before they're going to put any other tech prints on the traders. I don't know the answer to that question, but I've noticed that all the traders all have the tech print for jump packs and no other tech prints available. I think I'm getting Venom Fangs. I'm getting I want somebody to bite somebody with poison. I never do melee combat. I don't even know why I'm buying this, except it's really, really cool. And I might pick up... It's not going to kill me to start my plasteel supply. It's not going to kill me to do that. It's real early game. I've got plenty of time to make up this money. I'm going to basically blow all my money right now. I can't afford the tech print. Ooh, skill trainer animals is not a bad idea. That's good. I like that. It's kind of pricey. Yeah, jetpacks, Serifix. There are, we have jetpacks now. The side trainers give upon a boost in a specific skill. Yes, that part I get. I totally understand what they do. I just don't know what the ability Word of Joy is. I think that's new. I haven't seen that pop up before. And again, like Birdbrain says, I mean, you can make a pretty good guess as to what it's going to do. It's probably going to make people happy or maybe calm an enemy down. It might do something like that. Although there's already an ability for that, so I don't know why they duplicate it. I'm not going to get it. Apart from some of the really, really good ones where you can sort of stop or slow down enemies, I'm kind of on the psi abilities. They're okay. They're a nice addition, but I'm not jumping all over them. However, I'm totally going to buy poison teeth for one of my colonists and then probably never use it. I might buddy that up with knee spikes. I might just make effectively Wolverine, sort of, with knees and teeth instead of the claw thing. Although the claw things are in the game. They do exist in here somewhere. I'm not wholly opposed to buying a prosthetic arm just so I have one lying around. Just in case I need one. It is vague, Tinty. It is a little vague. X-Shot, welcome. You have to get pretty close to use them. Yeah, it's not a huge radius. I do like the ones, I can't remember the specific names of the ability, but they, slow a person down or stop them dead in their tracks, because that just gives you ample time to shoot them in their face. I'm definitely getting the Venom Fangs. I'm going to buy a little tiny bit of plasteel. It won't kill me to start stocking up on that. And I'm not going to sell my gold. I'm just going to pay the $520 and call it a day. Yeah, we're done. Pay the $520, call it a day. I am totally okay with that deal. That is fine. Mel is going to be quiet for a bit. Got to focus on shooting biters with lasers in Factorio. It sounds like you have a project there, Mel. It sounds, and I will not interrupt that project. You sound like you've got a lot on your plate, and we will not bother you with that. You chip in when you need to. And good luck with the biting thing. Here's a fun idea. Vampire spiders. They would suck your blood, poison you, tangle you in sticky webs, and generally look creepy. I think we kind of dealt with those in After the Collapse. The spiders seem to be all-powerful. They shot webs and they bit you and they poisoned you. It was pretty terrible. I think they've already made those. Oh, my new cooler is up. Super. Let's shoot down the temperature on this thing. Little too late. The heat wave's already over. But now it should be nice and cool in there. It's actually not that cool. It's 34 and coming down. 34 and coming down. That's good. I feel for such a small room. Well, they did just put it in. It may be taking a while longer than I think to get the room to cool down. But somebody go and get the knee spike. Or sorry, the Venom Fangs. Make sure those are inside. I need to know where they are at all times. That's awesome. Hosting a friend. Chief of Abnivi Pact. He wants Green Goose. Okay, I will have you come to our colony just because your name is Green Goose. You sound like a really, really terrible superhero from the 40s. Is interested in learning about other cultures, so we need to host Green Goose here at Stabby's Hope for 7 days. Green won't do any work, and Green wants to keep his mood above 50%. But I will get stuff. I could have 59 gold and 65 plasteel. That's good. That is good. I actually wouldn't mind the 75 jade either. I can skip the goodwill. I don't care if these people like me or not. I just want your stuff. I'm going for it. I mean, I would go for it anyway because it's a very simple one. We just have to have someone here and hope they don't die. But I'm going to take that for the plasteel and the gold. It is early days, but it's not a bad idea to have that. We'll throw him in here. This can be Green's room, and then we'll pretty it up, Green. I know your mood is going to crumble because the room is awful. It's awful. I know it's awful. You don't have to tell me it's awful. I know it's awful. But we're going to pretty up your room. We're going to make it look all nice. We'll put some furniture in it. We'll even turn the cooler back on for you. Maybe, probably. I'm like 70% on that. You can have a dresser, and you can have all sorts of nice stuff. You can have an end table. Everybody likes to have an end table. And you know what? You can even have a flower pot. Where are the flower pots gone these days? You can have a flower pot over here. So your room will be nice. It's just not going to be nice right now. Just not right now. Now, getting back to the venom fangs that I've got. I don't have a hospital. That should be my next move. Hospital and real prison. Not just absconding with somebody's bed and turning it into a prison. That would be I think, a fairly decent move. How much steel do I have? Not enough. The times we've streamed RimWorld, we have not landed on steel copious areas. We really struggle for steel, and it's so rare to see that because I play this in my off time, and I've landed on maps that are just lousy with steel. Like you can't move down the street for steel around here, but not so much with this one. Not so much. Oh, somebody's naked. Oh, the new guy's naked. Okay, don't blame your mood on that with me. I did not make you naked. I mean, we are clothing optional here, don't get me wrong, especially in the pants department. If you want to wear pants, if you don't want to wear pants, that's fine, Green, but apparently you're unhappy about that. Right, well, we'll get you some clothes made up. Make some pants. Make a couple of pairs of pants. It's not like we're not going to use them. And make some shirts and some hats. I don't think we've got the materials to do it, but see if you can squeeze a parka out of all of this. Speaking of not having the materials, anything we can kill around here? A bunch of rats. A turkey, well, that's dead. We know that immediately. That's dead. Can you make a good parka out of rats? I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, I'm going to kill them. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know how much leather you might be getting out of rats. Probably not as much as I think. Now, do I feel anyone's got the medical skill to install the venom fangs? 6 on you. Ooh, not you. Pain Stingle, thank God, because I was going to install them on you. Ew. Actually, we may be sitting on those venom fangs for a little bit. Highest medical we've got is 6, and I don't know if I trust that person to rip somebody's teeth out and put them back in. Do the traders just hang around for a bit and then bugger off? Yep, nailed it. You are correct. They hang around for a bit, then they bugger off. That is the nature of trading these days. It'll be more convenient when we have the off-world traders because they don't even show up. They just drop boxes on the planet, and somehow magically your stuff gets to them. I don't know how it works, but it seems to work. Kalian, you are fleshing out Green's bed. That is excellent. Green, unfortunately, will not do a lick of work around here. A rat parka must take many, many rats. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, like, a lot of rats are going to be necessary to make a parka out of it. And they don't really have, like, thick fur that you'd want in a parka. It's not like, one of the muffalos. I bet a muffalo makes an awesome parka. But a rat, I mean, they have sort of, thin, wiry fur. It's just not going to be good, Mel. It's just not going to be good. Are they eating my food? No, they brought their own food. They brought their own food, Willow, but they do use my table. and chairs. They're more than happy to use my table and chairs if they want to, but they do bring their own food. They have packaged survival meals is usually what they go around with, so no loss there. We've still got all of our food here, such as it is. How's the freezer doing, by the way? Now it's down to temperature. Okay, now it's down to temperature. That is fine. Are we making blocks yet? We are not. Okay, I'd like to see the clothing thing happen, because Green's just going to be in a bad mood because Green is naked. Green, what's your deal, by the way? I know you don't do any work, but what is your deal? Oh, you're terrible. You are just literally the worst colonist ever created. You can kind of throw a punch, and you're interested in learning about throwing a punch. But that's it. You actually cannot do anything at all. All work. Incapable of all work, including firefighting. Green is so adamant about his laziness that he will die in a fire rather than lift a finger. You know, I admire your dedication, Green. I see where you're going. I admire your commitment to laziness. You will die in a fire before you lift a finger to do a lick of work around here. Okay, fair enough. I know where we stand with Green. And remind me how long you're here? 6.7 days. Oh, it's just going to be a pleasure. The time will just fly by, Green. The time will just fly by. It'll seem like nothing at all. I love these vague sort of escort quests, keep 'em alive quests. Oh, it's nap time again. That was a quick day, actually. That seemed very, very quick. So tomorrow, I need to get some clothing made up for Green. That's got to happen. And I'd like to have an idea about a real big boys prison and a hospital. I'd like to get a hospital cooking along here. We don't have really a tremendous amount of medicine or the knowledge of medicine or how band-aids work or anything, but we can work on it. We can begin to work on it. And then when all of that is in place, this is a really good spot to wall off this colony. We did land in a nice circle of mountainous areas that will be super, super easy to wall off. So we're going to be able to protect ourselves reasonably soon. What I'd like to see to make that happen is the stone blocks. That would be my goal. When did lovers become a thing in RimWorld? Always to my knowledge, Willow, but I haven't been playing RimWorld since it came out, so somebody else who's been with RimWorld since day one can answer that question better than me. But certainly always in the time that I've played it, that was a thing. It's actually just super convenient because they will share a bed happily. They love sharing a bed because they do grown-up things at night and hug each other very affectionately. So they love that, and they do it every night. I mean, they're like rabbits. I envy them. I don't even know how they have that much stamina, but they will do grown-up things at night every single night, and it's a huge mood boost. So, for instance, Shield, tell me about yourself. Yeah, got some lovin' times 4. Times 4. These people are animals. But it is a plus 22 mood boost. It's just an insane way to offset the fact that everything is terrible around here. And, actually, from a real-world perspective, that would work. If that was happening, if the world was just awful, but that was happening 4 times a night, you'd probably be offsetting your mood. You'd be like, you know what? Things are terrible, but they're not that bad. Look what's happening 4 times a night. I'm pretty okay with this. So is my companion. I get it. I get where RimWorld is coming from that. So, Green, I noticed you're up and about and naked. Would you like... Yeah, I was going to say, would you like to go make your own clothes? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. What are you going to do now? You're wandering around. You're going to go look at the storage area where your clothes might be, if we get up and make them, but not so much. I'm going to kind of kick it into higher gear here just to get through the night, get everyone waking up and doing something around here. I also need more people. I need more warm bodies around here because, blood on the floor, mining not getting done, nobody's making clothes for Green. Speaking of that, who is spec'd out to do tailoring around here? We don't have anyone who's like a zillion% on tailoring. Who's actually halfway decent at it? Kalian's not bad. Weber here. No, sorry, Legua is not bad. Legua, you may be our tailor. Because you don't have a lot else going on, actually. We're number 1 on plant cut because you guys just refused to do that the last time. Why don't you be 2 on tailoring? Congratulations, you are now our tailor. And I'm going to say You're going to be number 2 on crafting, but I'm pretty sure that cutting stone blocks falls under the domain of crafting. I don't want you so focused on stone blocks that you're not doing the tailoring. I want you to do the tailoring first, and then you can do stone blocks. Up and About and Naked sounds like a reality TV show. I would watch that show, Birdbrains. I would DVR that show. I might even binge watch that show. One of my first visiting traders got attacked by a bear and left a whole bunch of stuff behind. Oh, good one there. I love it. That's why RimWorld is so good. That's why RimWorld is so good, because you just never know what's going to happen. Kugel, welcome. Welcome back to RimWorld, the Wild Pants faction of Stabby's Hope, where Green has joined us, and he's naked and sad about that. What are your deals, actually? You have low expectations. Good, you're in the right place for that. Your recreation has been fully satisfied, and you like the fact that the place is kind of big. You were nuzzled. It doesn't actually say by whom, it just says a cute animal. We'll assume that's an animal and not a person. And you're an undergrounder indoors. Okay, you're soaking wet, that's your problem. You went outside, you moron. And it's an unsightly environment. Yeah, it's not that pretty, Green. It's not that pretty. I get where you're coming from with that. Is it hot in here? I should have someone redo. Somebody prioritize refueling the cooler, please. Zelig is hauling things. I love having big dogs in a colony. Love it. Grown-up things like Sudoku complained about how music used to be better. It did, actually. It did. That's demonstrably true. History will prove that. Work on taxes. We pay an accountant to do that. Procrastinate mowing the lawn. We don't have a lawnmower. We pay someone to do that. And avoiding GMOs. I'm indifferent about that one. But definitely the complaining about how music used to be better. I've never played Sudoku in my life. It's just totally not what I do. I'll do crossword puzzles all day. I'm good with words. I can do words. The Sudoku thing just befuddles me. I don't understand why it's fun. I mean, I get why people might enjoy it, but there's just no concept of that being fun in my world. Putting numbers down in a particular order. Give me a crossword puzzle. I'm happy all day. I will plug along that all day long, but not so much with the making the numbers add up to something. I don't understand how there's so many of them. I figure there's got to be a finite amount of those puzzles, right? Because that's like how numbers work. I just don't get it. To prevent them getting rained on, you can expand the roof a little. I could. I don't care that much, though, Perturby. If they're dumb enough to go out in the rain, that's their problem. I feel that's their problem. Green is a real travel critic. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe it's like some sort of book series that Green has going on. The Naked Traveler. The Naked RimWorld Traveler. And just goes around to, Legu is making pants for you, Green. You're going to be wicked excited about that. We are the Wild Pants Colony. So it is kind of wild when you have pants, or when you don't have pants around here. So maybe that's his travel series, the Naked RimWorld Traveler. And he just goes around and rates rain. I was wet. 2 stars out of 5 was wet. Might visit again if the wetness stops. Can't do Sudoku. I have dyscalculia. Calculia. Oh, do you see numbers in a weird way? Huh. Because I know dyslexia. I understand what dyslexia is. Is dyscalculia sort of exactly the same thing, but with numbers, I would assume? Huh. I've never heard of that. That's kind of interesting. It is interesting. I can't do it just because I'm not good at it, if that helps. So I don't have anything holding me back apart from my own stupidity. That's my only limitation there. My inability to grasp basic things like adding to 10. Words, however, I'm okay with words. Again, crossword puzzles I can do. Crossword puzzles I can kind of muddle through, especially when you do a lot of them and you realize there's some sort of universal patterns that go along with crossword puzzles. Love to have a chance to make 1,000 crosswords and hang them and give them to someone for... and hang men, the game, hang men. I got it. And give them to someone for a live stream. I would not be surprised if there is already a crossword puzzle live stream. I would also not be surprised if that is happening right now. And I would also not be surprised if there's about 2,000 of them happening right now, because everything is happening right now. Yeah, dyslexia, but with numbers. Yeah, I kind of figured that part out. I've just never heard of that. It's interesting. I like things that I don't know about. I'm interested in things that I've never heard of. I went off to the kitchen to get lunch. Has Dave descended into madness yet? Well, geez, Mel, madness is a relative term on the channel. Let's define, what do you think madness is for me? Because I don't know. I mostly count on you. We've killed a turkey. That's fairly mad. One would not normally do that in the real world. But Shield here just butchered a turkey. We are making pants for Green. So I feel Green's going to be really, really happy about that. Green, can I actually make you put on pants? I can. There is at least one thing I can do with you. Actually, put those ones on, though. They're better pants. Okay, so I can at least have you force wear stuff so you won't be quite so sad about being naked all the time. Now you've got pants on. Welcome to the colony, Green. Welcome to the colony. What do you mean yet? Exactly. WASD Adventures. Okay. I don't think that's necessarily a descent into madness. I've done Descent into Madness. It's way darker than this. Way, way darker. I just want to be the one choosing the words people find, not that into people for looking for words I didn't choose. Have I told any stories yet? No, I don't think I have. I've mentioned how I don't do Sudoku because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. So that's about it. And we have mentioned that all music is terrible now, and it used to be much better because I'm old. I need to rewatch the stream to hear, because they shouldn't have been missed. Yeah, rewatch the stream on your beach in paradise with the sun-swept waves lapping at your feet and the palm trees over your head. Yeah, go ahead and do that. I won't feel bad about that, Mel. I won't feel bad about that. That's fine. You just go ahead. Go ahead and break up my marriage because Mrs. Dave wants to go be your best friend now. That's fine. That's fine. It's all fine. Everything's 100% fine. I'm going to put a light in this room because Yeoman Painstingle, our royal member here, has no lights. So I'm going to guess as a yeoman, they might be wicked into having a light around here. They'll probably start demanding it soon. Green, did you put pants on and then take them off? Did you do that? No, you're still wearing pants. Okay, good. Good. You still have your sort of naked icon here. So I was concerned that you had put your pants on and then taken them off, and then you were going to whine at me about being naked, and I don't know how to help you with that. I will, however, make you wear this shirt. So that will happen. The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. I'm familiar with that book. I know that book. All of the things that go wrong when things misfire in the brain. Yeah, I think it was primarily written for me to describe what it is that happens with me. I don't know what it is. Thank God Mrs. Dave puts up with it. Mel is pretty good at Sudoku. Well, you're pretty good at everything. It's probably because you're really good at blinky lights. You seem like you have that analytical mind. I feel that about... I don't know you, Mel. I don't know you personally. I know you live in paradise. But I feel you have kind of an analytical mind where you're good at... Well, let's look at your track record. You're good at Sudoku. You are good at blinky lights. And I notice you primarily seem to favor sort of logistical, making things work games like Factorio or Prison Architect or something like that. So you obviously have that mindset where you're very analytical, you're very focused, and you're very logical. I get that. And you live in paradise and you're going to break up my marriage. He was just test driving the pants. Yeah, I tried pants. They were okay. I'm not married to them, but pants are basically fine. Oh, Kalian, you're working on Reed. Good. I need another warm body around here. How are you doing, Reed? 5.6% resistance remaining. Good. Are you any good at anything? You are insanely good at melee. You can punch people in other dimensions, I think. You are, in fact, a planet-leading master at punching people in the face. That is excellent. I don't really do a lot of melee combat, Reed. This is probably not going to come up. I might give you the venom spikes, though. I might. You're actually very good at animals. That will come in handy. I don't remember what the limit is for thrombos, but that might come in handy. I wouldn't mind a good Penjish attack thrombo around the place. Also a programmer, pretty analytical mind. Yeah, I get that from you. Just putting the breadcrumbs together, Sudoku, blinky lights, logistics games. That's just what I feel from you. I feel you're a very analytical, very focused kind of person. Obviously you are, because you are the world leader, glass ceiling shatterer in the world of blinky light technology. So you're not one to be messed with, I think. I think you are somebody who just kind of powers through obstacles in your path. That's kind of the thing that I get. We're not sort of... Actually, I take that back. Not powers through obstacles in your path. I feel you make a plan and make a path and figure out what the obstacle is and then how to either go through it or work around it. That's what I get. Power through maybe is not the right term, but definitely you're someone who looks at an obstacle and says, yeah, hold my beer. I got this. While you're doing it on the beach in paradise, breaking up my marriage. I have this huge list of words for a Game Grumps word puzzle, but never found anyone to play it. Would have made a great engineer if not for the dyscalculia. Yeah, I bet. Because you do like mods and all that kind of thing. Passion for listing things. Sometimes I can't stop once a good list starts. I always think of one more thing to add. Well, you should do a YouTube channel. 83% of YouTube is just people listing things. I wish I'd thought of that. Wish I'd thought of that about 10 years ago. Here's a list of 10 things. Watch my channel. And they have like 1 million subscribers. And you know what? I'm just as guilty of it because I watch those things too. Oh, 10 best video games of 2019. Yes, please. I will sign up and watch that. 10 things you never knew about Jack the Ripper. Yes, I will absolutely watch that. Thank you very much. So, yeah, no, you should totally go start a YouTube channel. Sir, okay, hang on. Sir Robin, the not quite so brave, as Sir Lancelot, I have never been happier to welcome someone into chat. Sir Robin, the not so quite so brave as Sir Lancelot, you, let me assure you, you are on the right channel for that. We'll probably break that down to just Sir Robin, and then everyone else in chat will start doing Python quotes, and it will just descend from there. Mel was asking when I was going to descend into madness. It's going to happen now. Just tune in. It'll probably be happening soon. Sir Robin, the not quite so brave as Sir Lancelot, let me assure you, you are in the right place. I have never had a more welcome name come in here. Sir not appearing in this picture. Oh, Willow, well done. That's a bit of an obscure one from that movie, but well done. Well done. I like it. Oh, it's nap time again. Hang on. I'm just going to power through nap time in RimWorld so we can get stuff done around here. Weber is still up. Actually, you know what? I say I'm going to blast through this. Let me just remind myself. Do I have any night owls? Slow learner and kind. I know Green is a night owl. Or no, he's an undergrounder. Sorry, an undergrounder. No night owl. No night owl. No night owl, and no night owl. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to mess with the schedule and have people up at different times. The brave Sir Robin, indeed. Where is Vosseros for this? Maybe it is Vosseros, actually. Vosseros should be in on this. He would have had 10 quotes in there already. Used to love List 25. Yep, I watched some of that. Just the right size of not too short, not too long. Educational, but executives killed the channel. I've watched several of those. Birdbrains has to go, oh, come on. Oh, you're watching John Wick too. That's fair. That makes sense, Birdbrains. Top 10s, yeah, Willow, I like that one too. That's mostly the ones I watch. Although, you know, after a while, they do kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel of ideas. So thank you, Birdbrains. Thank you for coming by. Go watch John Wick 2. That's a perfectly appropriate thing to be doing. Mrs. Dave and I, just started watching Pennyworth. I don't know if anyone has seen that, but that is really, really good. Very good. I didn't really see that one coming. I kind of vaguely heard about it. I'm like, it was sort of the effect of, oh, they're making a young Alfred Pennyworth series. I'm like, okay, well, after Gotham ended, that kind of makes sense, sure. But it's very well done. It's very, very well done. If anyone has not seen Pennyworth, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's over there too in the old British Isles, but we were really enjoying that. We watched the first couple of episodes, and we're very much enjoying that. So if anyone's into that, gets my thumbs up, and Mrs. Dave's for that matter. Although I've been out of England so long, I do sometimes struggle to understand the deep, deep Cockney accent on some of the actors. Sometimes I'm almost ready to put on the subtitles. Almost. I haven't yet. I muddle through, but I'm almost ready to put on the subtitles in that because there's some deep, deep accents on there. People on the net love Holy Grail memes, but when I finally watched it, I like Flying Circus better. Oh yeah, you're not going to find any dissent about that. We've had many, many long conversations about Python, and just in case people are not up to speed, I was raised on Python. That was my parents' educational tool for me. So we didn't have much in my family. We were not a rich family. We kind of struggled. Sometimes there were hard times, and I'm not saying that lightly or jokingly. I mean, we struggled sometimes. But one thing they raised me with was humor, and primarily Python. They were both massive, massive Python fans. It's probably the only thing they actually got along with each other. And that was how I was raised. I was raised with Python quotes. Knowing and being able to quote Python verbatim was a status symbol in our family. The better and more obscure quote you could do at the right moment would raise your status in the family. So I would agree Flying Circus is better than Holy Grail. And I would go steps further than that. I actually think that their record albums are better than Flying Circus. Even though there's a lot of similar material, there's also a lot of stuff on their albums that never made it onto the show. And there's some really, really funny stuff in there. And then the books, you've got to go look at the books and go, wow, there's some genius material in here. Now, if we're talking just movies, we have said this before, we've had this in chat before, I think Life of Brian is the best one. I think Life of Brian is funnier than Holy Grail. And I'm very, very on Meaning of Life. Like, it's technically funny, but it's Americanized Python. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Meaning of Life movie sounds like they went to Python and said, we love what you kids are doing with this Monty Python thing. We would like you to do a movie, and don't change a thing, except really please dumb down the humor so the American audience love it. And I that's just the vibe I get from that. It's so over the top that it's not clever anymore. It's not clever anymore. And that's the joy of Python to me, is it is base humor, just bottom of the barrel humor, interspersed with these incredibly obscure, funny references that you would never get otherwise. So they will, I'm repeating what I've said before, but they will do absolute bottom of the barrel toilet humor. And then right after that, there's something about Jean-Paul Sartre, and you better darn well know why it's funny. You better be familiar with Jean-Paul Sartre and know why that comment was funny. And then they'll follow it up with like a fart joke. It's just, that's why they're so good. That's why they're so good. Status came from Seinfeld quotes. Those are good too. There's a lot of good material in that, and I would never dismiss that show. That show was brilliant and just so iconic of its time. It was perfect for its time. Like, I don't think if you put Seinfeld on today, I don't think it would be as funny. And if you put Seinfeld on 35 years ago, I don't think it would be as funny. It was exactly the right show at the right time. What the heck is the big white thing? Hang on, I have to approve one of Sir Robin's things here. Oh, because you used that word. Okay. You used that word. Okay. Fair enough. That's why I had to approve that. That's perfectly fine to print in chat. I have no problem with that. I won't say it out loud, but that is a perfectly fine word. We're all grown-ups here, I believe, for the most part. John Cleese once described as being the first allowed on a meadow to pick all the flowers before anyone else came along. Yeah. You know, that's a real... I've never heard that quote from him. Live at the Hollywood Bowl, Willow, is actually... Well, I think that was the first... No, it wasn't the first movie. It is... I think Live at the Hollywood Bowl was the first Python I kind of claimed for myself. Like, that didn't come from my family. Because they never... We never saw Live at the Hollywood Bowl. I saw that as a teenager, years and years later. I found that, and it was like a discovery. It was like it was all mine because I'd never seen it before, and that is just great for the Last Supper sketch. I've reenacted the Last Supper sketch. Last Supper sketch. Let's try that one more time. During, drama classes and that kind of thing. I that's one of my favorite sketches. Absolutely one of my favorite sketches. But I've never heard that John Cleese quote. First allowed in a meadow to pick all the flowers. Yeah. They pretty much just, oh, hang on, there's a mad rat. Hang on. I've got to deal with a RimWorld thing before we continue talking about Python. Everybody on deck, please. We need to go kill a rat. This is happening. Oh, the rat is very far away. But we'll come out and kill the rat. It's all going to be fine. Use Terry Gilliam as my ensemble in a school of surrealism art. Yeah, you're not going to get much more surreal than Terry Gilliam. And, like many great groups, you just had all the right ingredients. You needed Terry Gilliam in there. Python was not going to work without Terry Gilliam, even though he was in very, very few of the actual sketches. But his style runs rampant through it, and not just for the animations. We will allow ourselves to eat a dead rat. Thank you for asking. Python hasn't aged as badly as other comedy. Welcome, Fipsy. I didn't see you come in. Even with the amount of political correctness around now. Agreed. I still say you couldn't put Python on TV today. You couldn't do it. And whether you want to call it political correctness or just basic sensitivity about human beings, obviously done when it was done in the 60s and early 70s, it was not without its offensive language. Let's just call it that. An offensive language about groups of people. So that happened. And then it was totally chill to do that. But, we're a little more sensitive to that now. Maybe we don't do that anymore. One more rat closer to your rat parka. Indeed. Yes. Actually, the parka should be done. I saw somebody working on it. Did we make that? Is it still queued up? Is that still a bill? No, somebody made it. I just think somebody else grabbed it. Somebody else put that on. Okay. Well, we don't have no materials, actually. Why don't we see if we can... Winter will be coming. It's summer now, but winter will be coming. So why don't we see if we can get another parka made in that time? The guy who does the history of Nick videos was mentioning that Python can't be done today. I don't think Python can be done today. I don't think you can put it on TV today. I mean, you can put it on as reruns because people understand that it is a show of its time. I don't think you could recreate Python today. I think if you got 6 guys together and said, do something like Monty Python, I don't think it would fly. I think, certainly in this country, I think our humor is largely dumbed down, even more so than before. We've always dumbed down our humor. We always go for the base. We're all, what's going to get the most laughs. So I don't think something as inherently clever as Python would hold up, despite the, huge audience that Python has in America, and they obviously do. But it doesn't play to the masses, I think. I don't think you could recreate that. I think even if you said, get 6 really funny guys together, or girls, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Python had its share of backup singers, as it were. But if you said, get 6 funny people together and do something like Monty Python, I don't think you could do it because it was so symptomatic of its time, its era that it came out in, its the educational background that all of those people came from. I think that was a necessary component. So you had this deep philosophical learning that they had, and then they made it into comedy. Like the Philosopher's Song, the Philosopher's Australian beer song. Like, who's going to get any of those names unless you came from that background? Who the heck knows who Schopenhauer is unless you've come from that background? I don't think you could do it. That's just my opinion. Maybe there are 6 very funny people who could do something exactly like Monty Python, but I don't think that's true. I thought they did do a new Python a few years ago, and it sold out in hours. They did kind of a reunion thing. And if they're going to do that again, they better hustle up, because all those guys are seconds from death. Just seconds from death. And they're all kind of out doing things. I don't know if it's their... And I'm speaking for them. I don't know this for a fact, but I think they've kind of left that behind. That's a thing we did when we were younger, and we have other interests. They all have other interests. Eric Idle is writing science fiction. Funny science fiction, too. Go read Road to Mars. It's a really funny book. Michael Palin's doing his thing. John Cleese is obviously doing his thing. And as I said in chat before, I saw him live a couple of years ago. He was just on a speaking tour, really. He was just chatting. He called it the Alimony Tour, because it was just, he was doing a tour so he could pay off his ex-wives, because he was out of money. But it was like a little speaking. They showed Holy Grail, and then there was a Q&A session with him afterwards. I don't regret doing it, because now I can say I've seen John Cleese live, but there's parts of John Cleese's life that I didn't want to know about. I like to have my heroes remain pure. Thank you very much. And a lot of... I don't think it would be any surprise, and I don't think anyone would disagree, that I certainly look to John Cleese as somebody that I, got a lot of my, I don't know, not values from, certainly not values, but a lot of my, I guess I've sort of borrowed bits of him. Like, if you said, describe this thing that you're doing, and I'm going to speak for myself here. Other people may disagree, and I invite the disagreement. If you say, no, it's more like this, I would love for people to say that, because I don't know what this thing is that I do on this YouTube thing. I just sort of do gaming videos and hope for the best. But I said, if you said, okay, like, how would you describe the style? I would try and tell you that it is, if you mashed John Cleese and Henry Rollins together, that's what I feel something is trying to achieve there. I don't know. All humor has changed. Yes. Short answer, yes. I think there's some core elements. There are core elements to humor. Okay, I'm going to go on record right now, and I will fight anyone who says differently. From the dawn of time until the end of the universe, one thing will always be funny, which is a well-executed spit take. Always funny. Well-executed, mind you. It has to be done well. But a well-executed spit take is universally funny no matter. You could do that in medieval Europe. You could do that in the distant future when we all have jetpacks. A well-executed spit take will always be funny. Carol Burnett and the Muppets are two other favorite skit show teams. I also like Whose Line. I like Whose Line. Any sort of improv stuff done well, I've always enjoyed. I really liked going back a few years here. The State. And most of them went on to do Reno 911. Most of the cast of The State went on to do Reno 911. But I remember watching The State going, this is a really good group of funny people doing some funny skits. Yeah, it was pretty base humor. I don't think they were, they weren't going for Python-esque Jean-Paul Sartre quotes, but I loved The State. And I also loved Reno 911. That was very, very funny stuff. Who needs batteries in game? Yeah, I need batteries because the game says I do, really. That will stay there until I actually put some batteries up. What would help, Kalian, is if you actually refired the wood generator so we have some power. I'm meh on batteries in this game. I mean, yes, they provide backup power. That's literally what a battery is. But it's only backup power for a limited amount of time, unless you're going to do a whole room full of batteries, which is kind of overkill. So I'll make them, because the game is going to have that little flag there until I make them. But I'm not going to be jumping all over that. Best way to see the change in humor is to watch Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny in the 30s and the 60s and then the 2010s. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Cartoons do kind of show how these things have progressed. Ghostbusters 2016. I never saw Ghostbusters 2016. Okay, I could live or die without that. Apparently, I was not the only one. Apparently, a lot of people were like, yeah, I could live or die without that. Whew, boy, did that thing tank. Can't speak for other viewers, but without wanting to compare you, I find your humor is intelligent and well-informed. And you have in common with the Python Troop. Thank you! Thank you, Google. I'm going to be floating on intelligent and well-informed for a very long time today. But I also think there's some abrasiveness, too. Like, okay, let's kind of bring this conversation full circle. When Mel asked, when do I descend into madness? It's less about descending into madness and just sort of, most people are just going to call it ranting. But that's where I have all this, history with watching and reading and loving Henry Rollins, where the story begins, and he said this himself. I watched an interview with him because he will do a 3-hour talking show, and without pausing. It'll be 3 hours of just him talking, and it won't stop. There's no breaks. There's no nothing. And somebody asked him, like, how do you fill that time? How do you come up with that material? And he said, when I walk out on stage, I know where the story is going to start, and I know where the story is going to end. I have no idea what's going to happen in the middle. So when Mel asks, when do I descend into madness? That's where I look to the Henry Rollins feel, the Henry Rollins vibe, which is you just go and things happen. And boy, have we had some really fascinating stuff happen in chat. And we've had some probably pretty boring moments too, but sometimes it just gets a little weird around here. WASD storytelling can also be intelligent. It is. Sometimes we talk about important stuff. I will reaffirm not too important stuff. We're not, because the controversy is just not what I want. I've said it many times. I'm a human being. I live in this world. These things affect me, and I have very clear and defined opinions about what's going on. But this is not the right format for it, and I know that. And I slipped away from that once, and I regretted it. I absolutely regret it. I've actually deleted that video. That is gone. I regret doing that because it's not what I want here. It is what I feel. It's not that I was not being truthful with you guys. It's what I feel, but this is not the right environment for it. That's the thing. This is not if I wanted to do that, I should go start a new channel and I can rant all I want about Whatever controversial topic takes my mind, but this is not the right format for that. I want this always. I've always, from day one, from the very first stream I ever did, where I talked to myself for 2 hours because I had 0 views. 0. Nobody was there. Great training, though. I talked to and actually my second stream had 0 views. Technically it has 1 because I was watching myself. Oh, Carrie's not here. I forgot to like myself. There, I liked myself. Yay! Groucho Marx was wicked smart. Yeah, I do love me some Marx Brothers. I do like the Marx Brothers. That was also well done stuff. They can be kind of hit or miss. Some of their stuff is absolutely brilliant. I think Night at the Opera is one of the funniest movies ever put out. But some of their other stuff is like, okay, that was fine, I guess. I already am angry. Can't descend to madness if you live there already. Here we rant about screens, exactly. No, I have always hoped, and I hope it always is, just like somebody else described it here in chat, and I honestly, the compliment was so huge that I told other family members about it. Like, I was so excited about this. Somebody said this is like going to a pub with a bunch of friends. And that's just like perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to do here. You know, we're just hanging out, chit-chatting about nothing particularly important. I mean, I would absolutely go to the pub with my friends and talk about Monty Python for 2 hours. I would have no problem doing that. Speaking of Henry Rollins, I have no idea how all of that started. We were talking about Python, and now we're not. I would talk to Dave all day about anything. He doesn't try to judge me or shut me up for disagreeing with him. No, of course I don't. I don't mind if somebody disagrees with me. I disagree with me all the time. I make it a habit. But no, I would never... There's absolutely... And we were just talking about this yesterday. It's with the no judgment thing. So here's my thing. Here's why I don't judge anyone. It's not because of any, like, great enlightenment or anything like that. I just have a very, very simple philosophy in my world. Does what you're doing negatively impact my life in any way? And if the answer to that question is no, then go ahead and do it. Knock yourself out. It doesn't affect me at all. That's tolerance to me. That's my definition of tolerance. Is what you're doing hurting me in any way? And if it's not, then knock yourself out. Totally not. Go for it. I don't care. I don't care. Just go ahead and do it. So, yes, it's non-judgmental on my part, but it's also just do whatever you want to do. I don't care. We're totally open here. We don't care. And largely because I have, very, very poor memories and really don't remember things at all. So I enforce that against your will. I will call you by the wrong name. I'll call you by the wrong gender. We're all just going to have to suck it up and learn to live with it. We're all going to learn to cope with that information. So many people online are so one-sided. Arguments taking them like a hornet's nest. Yeah, and that's why I do want to stay away from that, because it's just... It's not... Here's the thing with, controversial topics, and we'll lump every controversial topic into one category. But here's the thing with controversial topics. You're not going to change my mind, and I'm not going to change yours. So why bother? Why are we going to bother having the debate? I love a good debate. I absolutely love a good debate. I will argue things just for the sake of argument. I think a debate is a wonderful form of interaction with a person. I think it's fun. I think it's enjoyable when it's done in a clever, intelligent way. It can be a very satisfying experience for both people. However, I'm not going to change your mind, and you're not going to change my mind. So why are we going to bother arguing at each other? And arguing and debating are largely two different things. But why are we going to bother? Do you think you're going to change my mind? I've had opinions like this for ages. And same with you. You have your opinions, and I'm not going to change them. I'm not going to come out with some revelatory piece of information, and you're suddenly going to go, oh my God, Dave's been right all this time. That's never happened. Never will. It's never, ever going to happen. At no point is somebody going to say, my God, I've completely changed my worldview because I watched this guy play RimWorld. It's just not going to happen, guys. Can't speak for the others, but I'm an adult who feels like goofing around with people wouldn't otherwise meet. Me too. That's why I do this. It's goofing around with people. I would never have met any of you. Ever. And I use air quotes around the term meet, but I would never have had these social interactions with any of these people if I hadn't started doing this channel. And it's one of the... I was actually interested... I was earlier today... Because I've gone through a sort of a introspective period of realizing how important the channel is to me. And I was kind of like, why is it so important? And there are a lot of different reasons for them. One of them is the socialization aspect of meeting people I would not otherwise have a chance to meet, and meeting some incredibly cool people that I would not otherwise have had a chance to meet. People just love needing to be right, needing to correct people, needing to save people from wrongness. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's on, again, any controversial subject. Just pick anything. Any controversial subject. You're exactly right on both sides of that. Each side thinks the other side is wrong, and they think they need to save them from that. And I'm just as guilty of that. I'm just as guilty of that. I will say that right here and right now. I am just as guilty of that emotion. And that's why I'm not going to change your mind. No matter how much I want to change someone's mind, no matter how much I may personally think they're wrong, I have to realistically understand that they also think I'm wrong. So we're not going to change each other's mind. So why bother? We'll talk about Henry Rollins and Monty Python instead. There's no arguing Monty Python. That's not going to happen. If anyone gets in here and says Monty Python isn't funny, they're just banned. It's just that simple. They're just banned. Spike Little Girl, welcome. I didn't see you come in. Like hanging around you and these guys. It is fun, isn't it? Like, I look forward to this. There's a weird part of me that almost wishes I could do it from your side. Like, not that I necessarily want to watch myself stream, but like, you know, I don't ever get to experience it from your side of things. Now, that being said, I do, when I finish the stream, I go watch the stream to just kind of see what happened, and it can be very informative sometimes. Like, I'll be watching myself and go, wow, I didn't even realize that was happening, or when did I say that? Because I talked for 2 hours straight. Stephen Fry said, it's now very common, and again, there's some funny stuff. Fry and Laurie, very, very funny stuff. I always think Fry and Laurie should have been in Python, but they just kind of missed it for some reason. Very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if that gives them certain rights. It's actually no more than a whine. I am offended by that. So what? Nailed it, Sir Robin. Nailed it. I'm offended by a lot of things. Top Hat. I keep wanting to do the f sound instead of the top hat. Welcome. You're right. Being offended by something does not mean that people... Again, it just goes back to you're not going to change somebody's mind. You can say you're offended by something all you want. You're not going to change my mind about it. Tinty is back. Welcome. Had to do manly household tasks. Were you opening jars and killing spiders? Because those are the traditionally masculine tasks that are asked of. Mrs. Dave is more than capable of doing both of those things, but occasionally she will ask me to do them. It's particularly the spider thing. So if she has killed a spider in the day while I was not at home, she will be very proud of this and will announce this fact to me when I get home. An area revealed. Oh, we're doing some mining. Oh, good. Well, that's a very boring area that gets revealed. I'm actually going to briefly play RimWorld for a sec. Hang on, I'll be there. Green, you are now fully clothed, and you're basically okay. I think we are keeping your mood over that 50% in there. It is an awful bedroom. You're not 100% wrong about that. We could do with getting it cleaned. That would be a big help in that. Oh, hang on. There's a quest available. 2 man-hunting rats. And I can get a sniper rifle for killing 2 man-hunting rats? Oh, or a bionic arm, though. Oh, I want a bionic arm. Oh, that would be neat. But the sniper rifle would be really good this early in the game. And some silver. I could live without the great bow, but it's probably got a good sell price. I never use shield belts. I just never bother. I really want the bionic arm, but I'm going to take it for the sniper rifle because that's a really good thing to get in game. Yeah, send me 2 rats. I'm pretty sure we can cope with that. I'm kind of only half looking at chat now because I'm waiting for the little red icon to pop up over here so we don't miss it. And all of a sudden I'm being bitten by rats a lot. Carol Burnett had a sketch on making a sketch that wouldn't offend anyone. She ended up with a sketch that had nothing on it. Yeah, it had nothing in it. Yeah, exactly. Humor invariably will offend people. You just can't do it. Except for possibly a well-executed spit take. I would, in fact, go to... There are 2. No, I say 2. I think it might only be 1. There is, in an episode of Are You Being Served, John Inman does one of the most perfectly... Sorry, not John Inman. That was not correct. I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy who played Captain Peacock. I don't unfortunately remember his name because only everyone remembers Mr. Humphreys. So anyway, the guy who played Captain Peacock does one of the most perfectly executed spit takes in recorded history. It is brilliant. It is funny every single time I see it. Every time. It is just so well executed. And you can say what you want about physical comedy, that it's lowbrow, but when it's executed correctly, and actually Python did a whole sketch on that. Live at the Hollywood Bowl, they do a whole sketch on the history of physical comedy. They call it the history of comedy, but it's the history of physical comedy. The pie in the face, the getting hit by the board, going back and forth. So yeah, it's 2 man-hunting rats or 2 men hunting rats. Oh, I hope it's not the second one. All right, let me just, you know what? You keep saying you need a meditation spot. Fine, I will give you a meditation spot. Go live, I don't know, go meditate over there and have fun with it. That'll keep you happy until I build you a throne room. That's one thing done. Batteries we're still working on. Still saying warm clothes. I don't know if we've got a lot left to make any more parkas, but we've made another one. We have scrounged up enough for another one around there somewhere. Spike Little Girl Likes Are You Being Served? One of my favorite series of all time. Definitely a series I can watch at any given time or day. Like, I can just put that on, and there's always still something funny in it. I know a lot of people consider it to be very lowbrow, and it is. It's a lot of, like, sexual innuendo and double entendre, but it's just so wonderfully funny, and the cast is just so well put together. The later years when the senior of the men's counter kept flipping back and forth. Not back and forth, they just kept dying when they went through several people on the senior counter. It kind of jumped the shark a little bit in its last few episodes, but it's still well done. It's all well done. Art, welcome. Medi, welcome. Welcome. What did you miss, Medi? We've been talking about comedy and the fact that a well-executed spit take is nature's most perfect comedy. I think nature's most perfect comedy. Willow thinks Are You Being Served is an awesome show, and you are correct. You are correct. It is an awesome show. I don't remember the episode. I'm pretty sure it was the one where Mrs. Slocum thinks that they think that Mrs. Slocum is pregnant. She's not. Her cat is. But Captain Peacock does such a perfect spit take. It should be in a museum. That's how good it was. It should be in the Smithsonian under, history of comedy or something. It was just so brilliantly done. Had to first stick playing... Oh, hang on, I gotta go. Just remember the time I tried to convince Python fans that Charlie Chaplin should be in the Ministry of Silly Walks. Yes, that is very true. That is very true. Now, Ministry of Silly Walks, the physical part of it is not as funny as John Cleese going through the bureaucracy of the Ministry of Silly Walks and talking about his budgetary needs. That's the funny part for me. It's not so much the silly walks as it is he's explaining, the ministry's place in the civil service and, this budget and that. That's the really funny part for me. Oh, hang on, Willow. Yeah, I know. No wonder I have to approve that. Yes, will definitely approve that. Yes, I do mean her cat, Willow. I do mean her cat. It's not my favorite when it comes to physical comedy. Bottom. Yeah, actually, Bottom is very good. Bottom is actually, you could, you'd go back to the Young Ones, because obviously that's where they're coming from. Young Ones is very good at physical comedy. Now, Young Ones is obviously completely lowbrow, but still brilliant. Still brilliant, and very good at physical comedy. I'm thinking of the one where Vivian goes through with the cricket bat and just starts smacking people on Summer Holiday. So no, Bottom and, I think we'd say Bottom and the Young Ones. We can group that into one category there. But yes, you're right, very good for physical comedy. I would agree with that. Bottom was not my favorite either, but it's still very funny. It's still very funny. I think I would prefer the Young Ones, although, no, I always just say I prefer the Young Ones. Flat out, go with that. When are the rats showing up? Because I'm kind of keeping an eye out for those guys. We are getting some mining done, which is excellent. Getting that steel coming in. Speaking of which, how are we, have we made any stone blocks? We've made some. Made a few. Not as many as I might like, particularly, but they exist. They're there. Has anyone mentioned Peorage? Genesis Peorage? Of the band that I can't immediately remember. Kids in the Hall. Yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff. Love me some Kids in the Hall. Kids in the Hall, The State, all of those ended up on MTV, late night MTV, back when MTV still played music videos. Actually, the state they were somewhat trying to get away from playing music videos, but they used to do Kids in the Hall, as I recall. Loved it. Loved Kids in the Hall. Great stuff. Season 1 of UK show set in a prison. Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. Oh, wait, yes, I am. Porridge. I am familiar with that. I couldn't tell you a darn thing about it, but I know it exists. Dick Van Dyke did a funny bit on the history of comedy. Hope that didn't need approval. Oh, I see. No, it didn't. That one slid right by. So Willow's comment about Mrs. Slocum, that got flagged. I had to approve that. But Dick Van Dyke, that just slid right on through. That phrase sounded better. Line, you know what? I'm going to pretend I never said that phrase. My desert island comedy would be Blackadder. I would agree, Kukul, that would be on my desert island. But I would... my desert island would probably be Python. It's just going to be Python. But I could mix it up a little. One of them, if you said, like, okay, you can have 3 or 4 DVD series on your desert island for comedy, because I don't think I could limit myself. If I'm going to limit myself, it's just going to be Python. I would say Black Books, the first series of Black Books, the first season of Black Books, would definitely be on there. Because that character is me if my life had taken a slightly different turn. Like, if I had gone left instead of right at certain points, at a certain point in my life, I would have ended up being that bookshop owner. I would have been, Desmond, is that his name? Bernard Black. I would have been Bernard Black. So I identify with his character. And I think the first episode of Black Books is just start to finish ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I would put that on my list too. Oh, hello. Yeah, that is good. I haven't watched all of that. That's quite a long series, as I remember. But yeah, no, that would be on there. Monty Python sketches were always good when I needed a sketch for a performance. Confuse-a-Cat. Yes, not a Music-Cat. Confuse-a-Cat. Confuse-a-Cat is very good. A little long. I would have cut I would cut like 60 to 90 seconds out of that if I were editing it. It's not my favorite sketch, but it is very good. Andy Griffith, because now we're getting into real sitcom territory. Now we're getting away from sketch comedy and getting into sitcoms where there is a defined story for, 22 minutes, 30 minutes minus commercials. And the story begins and it's funny and then the story ends and we all learn a lesson usually at the end of it. Father Ted, excellent. Very good stuff. Very good stuff there. We ended up doing the Lumberjack song and the Parrot sketch and had to cut Cheese Shop. You had to cut Cheese Shop? Cheese Shop is one of my favorites. Cheese Shop is one of my mother's favorites too. That's one she does time and time again. Do you in fact have any cheese at all here? It's one of my favorites. It's a family favorite. You know what? Cheese Shop is a family favorite amongst the Dave household. Rise and Fall of Reggie Perrin. I haven't thought about that one in ages. Benny Hill, not so much. Yeah, that actually took the lowbrow. So it was. I'm going to go with a hard no on Benny Hill. I never found it funny. I mean, it's not that I don't find it funny. I get why it's funny. It's not that I don't understand it. I understand why it's funny. I understand why people think it's funny. It's just not funny to me. Even when I was a kid, even when I was like the prime demographic for finding that funny, I didn't find Benny Hill particularly funny. Dead Parrot sketch for Spike Little Girl. Fair. That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, I don't think that the Cheese Shop is my favorite sketch. I think it's certainly in the top 10. And it's certainly one that I go back to time and time again. And there's many different iterations of it. The one that's on the TV show is not the only one they did there. There's one on an album. Did they do that in Live at the Hollywood Bowl? I don't actually remember the answer to that question. Would love to do Cheese Shop in real life, but real cheese shops are always well stocked. Tommy Cooper. Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. Oh, hang on. The rats have shown up. Hang on. I actually have to go play RimWorld. The rats have shown up. There's a thing there. We should deconstruct that. Okay, so we got 2 rats. I think we're going to be basically okay, kids. I think we're going to be fine. Oh, are those alpacas? Those are 0% to hit back. Yeah, we got to do some hunting after the rat incident is over. So team, we're all going to go kill a couple of rats. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Where do we live? Why are you all the way over there? Oh, you're tidying up that field. Okay, that makes sense. I see what you're doing there. Red Dwarf, I do ostensibly like Red Dwarf. I do. I didn't make the leap into the ridiculous fandom that so many other people did, where it's the greatest show on television. I think it's certainly very funny. It's just not the end all be all to me. It's not, I'm telling you, it's not making my Desert Island pick. It's not going to be on the Desert Island with me. Black Books will be there. Python will be there. A lot of other stuff will be there. Black Adder will definitely be there, but not so much with Red Dwarf. I think it's very funny. It's just not, the best humor for me. It's fine. It's, you know what? That's it. It's fine. It's totally fine humor. I don't think they did anything called the Cheese Shop Live at the Hollywood. I don't think they did either. I think you're right. I don't recall the Cheese Shop being in Live at the Hollywood Bowl. Upper Class Twit of the Year. Excellent sketch. Excellent sketch. Very well done. Thoughts on Hitchhiker's Guide? My favorite book of all time. Yeah, that's my Desert Island book. I would ideally like to have the complete series, but I would accept only having the first two. And if you held a gun to my head, I'll just take the first one. So Hitchhiker's Guide is my favorite book. That is a book I have read. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I've read it. I don't think I can count that high. That was introduced to me by my uncle, who had no other real redeeming value apart from introducing me to Douglas Adams. He gave me that when I was about 9, and he said, "This is really funny. You should read this." And I did, and it was all downhill from there, basically. So yeah, that's just awesome. That's just awesome. Was a tremendous radio series, but flagged on TV. Well, yes, and now you got to get into the history of Hitchhiker's Guide, where it was obviously a radio show first before it was a book, and then a TV show. Funny story about the TV show. We all are very clearly aware, those of us who saw the BBC TV version of this, 6-episode miniseries incorporating all of the Hitchhiker's Guide and parts of Restaurant at the End of the Universe, that the special effects are very typical for a BBC production. Very typical in that they are awful. They're just awful. I remember watching, because we lived in England when that came out, I remember watching an episode of Blue Peter, and the whole episode, I may not have been, but it seemed like the whole episode was this big special extravaganza going behind the scenes of the unbelievable, amazing, ridiculously futuristic special effects of Hitchhiker's Guide. And they're just awful. But they were revolutionary at the time. They really were. I swear to God, those special effects kind of looked cool at the time they came out. I could say I used to love Raymond Luxury Yacht. Yeah, I know it's spelt yacht, but it's pronounced Raymond Luxury Yacht in my RPG games, or anytime someone asks me my real name. And you have to tell them, it's spelt one way, but it's pronounced... there's another version of that where it's Raymond St. John Pole Vaulter or something. I know it's spelt Luxury Yacht, but it's pronounced Raymond St. John Pole Vaulter. That's not the exact one, but there's something along those lines in there. Yes, the Luxury Yacht. So that's my feel on Hitchhiker's Guide. Wanted to like Hitchhiker's Guide, and you did. Good. I never watched the new movie because I just know. I took one look at what they did to Marvin and said, nah, I'm not doing that. Not even doing that. I once had a book containing the radio scripts and it was full of notes by Douglas Adams. Yeah, and obviously Douglas Adams runs rampant through British television in the 70s. I think I said it yesterday, but I've said it time and time again. The only author I know who has plagiarized himself, he plagiarized his own script for Doctor Who and turned it into the Dirk Gently series. So the first Dirk Gently book. So I think that's an admirable trait to say I ripped myself off. Here's the sniper rifle. I killed those rats for a reason. Now who's getting the sniper rifle? I'm looking in the wrong tab. Who's my best shooty person for a start? And then I got to go kill those alpacas. I got to get those done because those are 0% chance to hit back. So yeah, you're all kind of broadly the same. Okay, who doesn't have a good gun then? You've got a rifle. You have a short bow. You're also the worst shooter. But you'll be better if you have a sniper rifle. It'll be more accurate. And you are going to be king. You probably should have the best weapon. So Painstinkle, Yeoman Painstinkle, go equip that sniper rifle, please. And then let's go a-hunting around here. So wildlife, where were all those alpacas? There they are. Yeah, they're all dead. They're all dead. Now there's some good parka material. Alpaca. That's going to make some very good parkas later on. Monty Python is one of those things you need to hear If you just read transcripts, it's not as funny. Yes. Yes. I have the script of Holy Grail, and it's not just the script. There's a lot of other cool stuff in it. And you're right. If you just read Holy Grail, it's not as funny. Of course it's not. But the Python books, where they were specifically sitting down and writing a book, those are funny. The another Monty Python paperback, very, very good stuff. And there's a couple of others that I can't immediately remember the name of that I have. Movie was terrible. Good. Good, Spike Little Girl. Thank you. I'm glad it was terrible. That's why I avoided it. He would write something, extreme descriptions on how he wants something to sound, and then walk away, leaving the audio team to sort it. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I killed the rats for a reason, Nathan. Welcome. Welcome, Nathan. I took the quest. I did the quest. The quest reward was a really good sniper rifle that I shouldn't have this early in the game. So I'm getting the sniper rifle. We killed the rats. I did the time. I'm getting the sniper rifle. So that, basically. Oh, all right. What else needs to happen? Two things. Green, when are you going home? 3.1 days. How's your mood? Because we want to keep your mood high if possible. If possible. If not, I'm okay. Again, underground or outdoors, that's your problem. I know I could zone you to only stay inside, but I'm not going to. I don't really care if your mood is that high. That's just a little bit of reputation. I just want your rewards. I want your plasteel and your gold. Oh, pods came here. Yeah, I know about the pods. Actually, that is a masterwork shortbow. Oh, no, that's the one he dropped. But so we also got a masterwork shortbow somewhere around here. That was part of the package for killing the rats, as I recall. Might equip somebody with that. Anyway, we'll think about that. Will we see RimWorld ending? Not the way Penge did it. Frost, welcome. No, I can't. Okay, so it's been like 24 hours. I think we can... All right, I'll do the spoiler alert for the end of Penge's RimWorld, but it's been 24 hours. If you haven't watched it by now, that's your problem. But no, I've actually never launched the ship, Medi. I was watching last night. I was watching Penge's final RimWorld, not only for the end of this amazing series that he's done. I mean, this has been over a year. He's been putting this together. This has been my regular Friday night thing, is watching Penge's RimWorld. So not only to watch the end of an amazing series, but also I've never launched the ship. I've actually never even seen it happen. I didn't know what the ending of RimWorld looked like. So are we going to see that here? Well, that largely depends on Streamlabs now, doesn't it? Because we got pretty far in the last colony, and then Streamlabs decided it hated RimWorld. Right now, Streamlabs has decided it really likes RimWorld, and it plays it very, very well. We'll see if that changes in the future. Another random piece of high technology. Yeah, we should... we're very, very far away from being able to craft a sniper rifle of our own. That's a long way off. Oh, there's that bow. What is that again? A great bow. Masterwork. I probably won't even equip it. It's probably just got a really good sell price. I'll wait for a good vendor to come along. So, yeah, we, what was the point of that? Yeah, we really shouldn't have a sniper rifle this early in the game. We should still be at the regular old bolt action rifle thing. So, yeah, as Willow is saying, Medi, I just started this. I'm shocked I have this many colonists this early. We're only just at the end of the first summer. So we've only gone through 30 game days in this colony of Wild Pants, of Stabby's Hope. The Wild Pants I love the name. I'm so glad chat came up with that. The Wild Pants faction of Stabby's Hope. It's just awesome. This corn should be about done too. Yeah, corn's going to be done soon. That's going to be a lot of food. Plus the animals we're hunting. Plus I might get this rice in, maybe, before it turns too cold. Rice grows pretty quickly. Yeah, this is already 40% grown. And it's, wow, that does grow quickly when it's light enough out. So we'll see, Medi. We'll see. I've never launched the ship. Never seen it happen until last night when Penge did it. Who cares for reputation? I want the rewards. Eric K, welcome. Exactly, Nathan. I don't care about the reputation. I'll build reputation naturally with these people. And if I don't, I actually don't care. I don't care. They've kind of reworked how the royalty thing works with a couple of recent updates, so it's actually easier to get the good stuff from being high-ranking royal. So it used to be, like, you can summon a temporary army, really. If you're in trouble, you can summon the royal guards. And there's some other stuff you can do, too. And it used to be a really long slog up the reputation tree to get that. They've made it a lot easier now. So we may see that. I don't know. Really kind of depends how Yeoman Painstingle works out. Ending a colony by achieving the set goals. What a novel idea. Exactly, Kukul. That is not how I play RimWorld. The colony ends one of two ways. Either everything is set on fire and killed by muffalos, or I just kind of get bored and go, I think I want to start a new colony. And that's 90% of them. The ones that have ended up on the channel have been the disasters. And it just, the last one bugged me. Because when I was playing RimWorld Royalty on the channel, at that point, I get it. The first series went down in flames, quite literally. The entire base burned down. The entire base burned down. And I understand that because I'd never played RimWorld before. That was completely blind, and disasters like that are going to happen. When I did the RimWorld Royalty on the channel, I'm actually not 100% terrible at RimWorld. I know a lot of expert, efficient RimWorld people will disagree with me because I don't do ultra high efficiency min-max stuff on this, because that's just not me. I find that a very dull way to play a game. Like, oh, make sure this zone is exactly these amount of tiles and this thing is exactly crafting this. That's just not me. That's a very, very boring way to play video games. I mean, the word game is in the title there. Let's just make sure we all remember it's a game. But when RimWorld Royalty crashed with the Muffalos, I'm better than this. I know I'm better than this. Why did this crash? So I can play RimWorld by myself really, really well, but when it goes up on the channel, it just all goes down in flames. I don't think we make it to the end. Okay, so Frost has got an over-under now. Frost has got some action on the chat. Frost has got some betting action on the chat here. Now, I do not endorse gambling, but if Frost wants to take the action, we now have a set point of Frost says no. So Frost is the over-under. Are we making it? Are we not making it? I kind of want to see this colony do slightly differently, decently. So do I. I don't go in with the intention of crashing a colony. I've never done that. I've never, said, I'm going to deliberately fail for, I don't know, entertainment value or something. I've never done that in my life. I want the colony to do well. RimWorld often has other ideas now. I'll tell you, with the Muffalo thing, it did teach an important lesson, which is I don't send people out to just hunt animals that have a percent to fight back, even if it's only the 2%. I will actually draft 2 or 3 people and then send them on an extermination mission so I can keep an eye on them and direct them. So these guys, the alpacas, they have no chance of hitting back. It's a 0% chance animal. So I know I can send Legua out all day long. Those alpacas are not going to attack. Are you a him or a her, Legua? You're a him. Okay. I'll probably call you by a different gender several times. Just learn to cope with it. We're all pretty free and easy around here. We're fluid. You know what? We're fluid. Just learn to cope. Anyway, so I could send Legua out all day long. The alpaca will never attack him. No matter how many times he shoots that alpaca, never ever going to attack him. But Muffalos and the other 2% animals, I'm going to go ahead and actually draft some people and direct them. So if they do get into trouble, I can kind of deal with it. So as weird as that Muffalo ending was, it did actually teach me an important lesson. Just don't send people out to hunt and think that nothing's going to happen just because it's a 2% chance. I know a few games where people view the games as a series of exact equations. Yeah, that's really boring to me. That's really, really boring to me. Those folks come up in the comments, and often they're being super helpful. Super, super helpful. Particularly with games like this. Like RimWorld. Oxygen Not Included has one of the greatest comment sections. I love the comments for Oxygen Not Included. They write essay-length comments about how to play Oxygen Not Included correctly. And I love them. However, my brain doesn't work like that. It's just not the way I play games. It's not the way I do a lot of things. I try to get the points out of their little essays. Like, okay, I'll try and do that, but I'm probably not. RimWorld people are probably some of the most guilty about doing the whole ultra efficiency, min-max, make it perfect kind of things. I'm going to tell you, if you want a real laugh, go through Penge's series and read the comments for it. Read the comments, because that series went on forever, and a lot of people wanted to tell Penge exactly to the most minute detail how to play RimWorld. And some of the advice he took, and some of the advice is like, I'm just not going to do that. No, it's just not me. I just like to do what I want and not care about how close my trees are to their bingo. Yeah, welcome to my world. That's how I play games. It's how I'm always going to play games. I say it many, many times. Ain't no one tuning into the wee hours for competent gameplay. Although I'm actually mildly competent at RimWorld. I'm not incompetent at RimWorld. I can play RimWorld. I can keep a colony going for a very, very long time. Usually until I get bored of it. In fact, usually I'm like, okay, I'm just going to move on to another colony. Because I'm a serial re-roller. I like starting new games. That's really, really fun for me. I can't tell you how many alts I had in World of Warcraft. Because I wanted to do them all. I wanted to try every one of them. I couldn't stick to a character. I had a main, sure, but I couldn't stick to one character. I'd bounce all over the place. People started advising me to adjust my phone, and I'm like, dude, I'm on a laptop. There you go. Factorio has that crowd and calculate things on his spreadsheets. Yeah, I'm not pulling out a spreadsheet for a game. It's not going to happen. It's not ever going to happen. That's why some of the best games for me are games where you can't do it perfectly or efficiently. Like, say, No Man's Sky. I know No Man's Sky has a lot of detractors. A lot of people don't like No Man's Sky. I love it. I love that game. And I'm going to tell you why I love that game. Because I can play that game any way I want. Anything I think I want to do that day, I can go out and do it. And it's not dependent on what I did the day before. So if I go into that and I'm like, I just feel like kind of building up my base. I'm just going to gather some materials, build up my base a little bit, make it look cool. Great. The next day, I'm like, I'm going to go shoot pirates. And that is not dependent on my base. My base has nothing to do with that. My base will sit there all day long and do nothing at all. I enjoy games like that. I enjoy games where I'm like, I can just kind of do what I feel. And really, I feel that way about RimWorld. I know a lot of RimWorld players don't feel that way about RimWorld, but I feel that way about RimWorld. I can kind of just do whatever I want. Maybe I want to have like an animal farm. I've got one in my side game going right now. I have a pig farm. Why do I have a pig farm? Because RimWorld lets me create one. So I've got a pig farm. And every now and then we harvest some pigs, we have some bacon, everybody's happy about that. Why are we listening to Storytime not fighting? There's no combat going. We already killed the rats. Rats are done. Ask 7 people how to do something and then do whatever. Yeah. Oh, the Albanians got me nailed then. I beat Simant without trying. The red ants were extinct on their own real early, and I just kept spreading out. I remember Simant. You're shooting the pirates wrong. Yeah, that's pretty much your average RimWorld comment. My favorite, go back and find it. It's super, super funny. And we often jest about this to each other. Ages ago, might even be a couple of years ago at this point, Penge did a reading mean comments video. Not the most latest one where he did like reading nice comments. That he did fairly recently. I think he did that at 10K subscribers or something, or maybe 15K, I don't remember. Anyway, but he did one ages ago, reading mean comments. And there is a comment that he got that I feel encompasses so many people in the comments section. Bobcat, welcome. And we've ended up joking about it because every time I think of it in my head, I laugh. And the comment that came through to Penge was, "You're doing loads of bits wrong." And that was it. That was the whole comment. I forget what it was, some sort of building game. I think it was on that like subway or train station building game that he did ages ago. Anyway, there's a bunch of games like that. But that was the comment. You're doing loads of bits wrong. And I feel that's a lot of comments. It's just people saying, you're not doing it right. You're doing loads of bits wrong. And I'm gonna. If I could co-opt that comment, I would put it up as my channel banner and just turn it into like, I'm gonna do loads of bits wrong. And you're all gonna have to live with it. The only thing I try to do, is try to make it entertaining. That's the only thing I try to do. I'm never gonna play it perfectly. I am never going to play it perfectly. Jake, welcome. I'm never going to play it efficient. It's why I try to stay away from some of the logistics games now, is because I'm only going to get the comments of, you're doing this all wrong, At least with something like RimWorld, I can get away with the fact that it has a story. So it's always going to go down in flames. I'm never going to play it perfectly. I am always going to do loads of bits wrong. The only thing I try to do is make it entertaining as it's happening. That's all. Zygrana, welcome. I am Croatian, so I can speak to people from that area. Is that where... I'm sorry, my knowledge of European geography is not really that good, except for the bits on, towards England. I know those bits okay. So is Croatia near Albania? Is that kind of the same place? You're not doing it right. You're doing loads of bits wrong. Sounds like my sister yelling at me. Well, that's what the comment sounded like, Zygrana. It sounded like and the way he read it too. That's why I chuckle at it all the time, because it was the way he read it in that very particular style that he has. Which was, it sounded like a 5-year-old getting angry at his dad for not playing a board game correctly. Oh, you're doing loads of bits wrong, that kind of thing. And I've always chuckled about that, because that's me. I'm going to do loads of bits wrong all the time. Thank you, Willow. Ain't no one tuning in here for competent gameplay. If you add an extra layer of your wall, your walk-in freezer will stay cooler with less energy. See, that's exactly the comment, Bobcat. I know that. I do know that. I can always think about that, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all going to work out fine. Do have a hard time watching people do Harvest Moon wrong. Like the guy asks the chat what to do. We tell him he ignores our advice. He might be ignoring your advice. I have always said to people, and this is particularly coming true with Oxygen Not Included, that is a brain-meltingly complicated game that I love. I love playing O&I. It's a really fun game. I regret that I waited so long to play that, and I'm glad it was dirt cheap in the Steam Summer Sale so I could pick it up. It does not mean that it doesn't make my brain cry, and I get a lot again, essay-length comments in O&I about how to do things correctly. And I've started now saying on the videos, like, if I haven't done the thing that you told me to do, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that there are 500 things to do in O&I at any given moment. I'm trying to stay focused. Also, something like RimWorld, something like O&I, other games that I've done have done it, where there's just a ton of comments, and you just can't take all of them. So I think a lot of folks who do this are hopefully pretty good about saying, if I didn't do the thing that you said in the comment, it's not that I'm ignoring you or I didn't want to do it. It's just that other things are taking precedence. And I certainly try to express that. Sardgirl, welcome. Catching a live stream, been a while since I have. Love watching seeing things done wrong. Oh, good. Then you were 100% in the right place. You're 100% right. Okay, here we go. Zygrana. Croats, Bosnians, Serbs have the same language. And then you have people who are Albanian and from Montenegro who also have a similar language with little differences. Okay, got it. So it is sort of vaguely in a similar area where there's a sort of running language through it all with some differences. Okay. Again, my knowledge of that part of the world is limited. I don't know that part very well. I mostly know where England and Ireland is. I'm pretty comfortable on where France is because I've been there. Germany always throws me off, even though I've been there. It always throws me off where it is on the map. I never expect it to be there. I almost feel like it's hiding, like it's sneaking up on people. They're like, hey, here we are. Like, oh, I didn't expect you. It's a little bit of a jump scare every time I see Germany on a map because I didn't expect it there. Why does the base remind me of prison cells? Oh, thank you for reminding me, Nathan. I was going to build a prison. I was totally going to do that. Speaking of which, Reed, how far along are you on us Mike Tysoning you into our lives? 2.9. Okay, good. Soon you'll be able to help build the prison. That's totally a thing I was going to do. I've built nothing today. I've built nothing. I killed a few rats. This is at least last time I built a new bedroom. All right, let's build some stuff. You know what? I'm going to briefly play RimWorld. This is totally happening now. Actually, I have some sandstone blocks. I can make this look slightly better, I think. So let me do a corridor. No, not a corridor there. Maybe a corridor there. I'm going to put a corridor there. I'm not 100% on it. And then it's going to come down here to there, and then there, and then we're going to slap some doors in here. Okay, doors there and there. And then I'm going to build a steel. Actually, I do have a lot of steel right now, but that's not going to last forever. I'm going to build a wooden prison. I mean, if it burns, it burns. They're prisoners. They knew what they were getting into around here. They knew the problems around here. Oh, hang on, Zygrana. I have to approve that. Hang on. But if you say Croats, Bosnians, Serbs speak the same language in any of those countries, you'll get beaten up. Yeah, every country can be guilty of that. I'm sure, there's Spanish, and then there's the Spanish that people speak in Mexico, and then there's the Spanish that people speak in other parts of the world, and it's all slightly different. Some would say that's Germany for you. It's just geographics. I don't, even though I've been there, I don't necessarily immediately remember where it is on a map. So when I see it, I'm like, huh, is that where that is? Well, blow me down. Who knew? Yeah, no, get me my wooden wall. We're going to make... This will either be a prison or a hospital. I haven't 100% decided yet. With the size of it, I'm guessing prison. So let's have a door there. And actually, we'll put a door there, just for giggles. That'll be fun. People like to have doors. I remember a kid asking me what RIP means on tombstones, and I tell him rest in peace, and he told me I was wrong. That seems a very silly thing to argue about. You know what, I had a similar argument with someone. I used to work in a bookstore, and I had someone come in who was not from the state that I live in. Now, every state in the U.S. has different taxes in terms of, state tax and property tax and sales tax and all of that kind of stuff. Everyone is different. So I understood the fact that he may not have been from my area, but he came in and he bought a book. And here's the tricky part in my state. Books are taxed for a sales tax, but periodicals are not. So a magazine or newspaper is not taxed, but a book is. And he was very confused by this. And he simply would not believe me. So he simply would not believe me. Much like your rest in peace thing. He simply would not believe me. I said, I assure you that this book is taxed. He says, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. And it kind of devolved from there. I don't know how to help you. I am telling you the sky is blue, and you can see the sky is blue. I don't know how you can refuse this. Anyway, if the prisoners burn alive or asleep, so what's their fault? They were chosen to be prisoners. They probably attacked my base. Frost says build a wall. We're totally going to work on that, Frost. That's absolutely a plan. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen right away because I would ideally like to do that out of stone, and I'm going to need a lot more stone blocks for that. But you may notice, Frost, we're in a really good area to block ourselves in. All of these mountains are going to really help me do nice short walls, block it off very, very easily. And yeah, I'm going to occupy all of this area. I'm probably not going to use all of it, but I will occupy it. So a wall is coming. I'm not so flippant towards some basic RimWorld ideas that I'm not going to do that. We'll have a wall. I do multiple trap corridors. So I know Penge primarily did one big one. I like to have multiples all over the walls because, well, they're great for hunting. It pretty much removes the need to do any hunting because animals will just wander in and get killed. So you can just stop hunting because you have a permanent supply of meat. Did you know that it's next to France and Poland? Well, I know some World War II history, so I figured it was probably next to Poland. One thing that has me scratching my head is why do people enjoy truck driving simulator but not desert bus? Question for history there. That's a question for history. Much as I like you getting into our RimWorld game on streams, I do like to listen to your conversation with the chat just as much. Oh, thank God. Thank God, Sardgill, because I've played very little RimWorld in the last hour and 45 minutes. I've played very little RimWorld. This is the first thing I've done. I've been streaming for an hour and 42 minutes. This is legitimately the first thing that I've done. Actually, I tell a lie. We made some pants. And some parkas. We made some parkas. I think somebody refueled the generator and we killed 3 rats. A lot of those things happen to me, though, not necessarily of my own volition. Most states that I know are like that with the taxes. Books are taxed, but something dated isn't. Like a crossword puzzle books that put out monthly shouldn't be taxed. Yeah, it's it's state to state. So a lot of states will do that. A lot of states won't. Like our neighboring state has no sales tax at all. Buy whatever you want over there. There's no sales tax on it. And some states will have sales tax on some things, but not others. So we don't have a food tax, but we do have a meals tax. So if you go buy your food at a grocery store, there is no tax. But if you go buy your food at a restaurant, it is taxed. And then if you go to a grocery store and you buy food that is deemed to be ready to eat, so in other words, if you go and you buy a cooked chicken at your grocery store, I don't know if your grocery store does that, but ours do, then that is taxed. But if you go and buy a raw chicken, that is not taxed. It's all very complicated around here. You voted for a wall, now you have to build one. Very timely of you there, Frost. Very timely. We will build a wall. We will build a wall. This will definitely happen. I always do that. Again, I'm not so flippant in terms of playing the game the way I want that I'm going to ignore some very easy and obvious RimWorld standards, if you will. Build a wall around your colony. I think the trap corridor is pretty standard in most people's plays. They're going to build something along those lines. Maybe not a trap corridor, maybe they do it with turrets or something like that, but they're going to build something along those lines where they can catch people unawares like that. You did things, you killed some rats. I did kill some rats, and we made some pants. We got to remember the pants. We made more than a few pairs of pants. I think we made 2. You missed the big white bird thing that looked like a swan. Oh, that was probably a thrumbo. Big white bird thing. Yeah, it had to be a thrumbo. I don't think they're birds. They might be. I don't know. There's nothing really for us to do with thrumbos at this point in the game. We are way too low level to be able to tame them. They're super, like, you got to be really, really good at animals to be able to tame a thrumbo. We're definitely not going to attack them because they're insanely strong and they will just wreck us. So we kind of just let them be. We just let the thrumbos, they're peaceful. They're not going to attack me unless I attack them. So they'll just come through. There'll be no problem. There'll be no burden on us. Maybe we might get lucky and be able to tame one later, or if we're Penge, one might self-tame. I've never seen a thrumbo self-tame. Never seen a thrumbo self-tame. People yell at my state for having parking meters and beach tags, both things you could avoid if you know how. Florida is not... Well, we have parking meters. We have parking meters all the time. We're very keen on parking meters. And we usually have... there's usually a parking fee for beaches. If they're a larger beach, not the smaller beaches. So, we live on the coast, so there are a number of... I'm going to use a tentative air quotes around the word beaches, because we're in the Northeast. This is not like a Florida beach. This is not like where Mel lives or something in paradise. These are not white sands and palm trees. This is a Northeast coast beach, which means it's mostly rocks. Mostly rocks, actually. And then some sand we imported in, so we could technically have a beach. But we have, large public beaches where you will absolutely pay a fee to park there. And then if you know the area, you can just go to some of the smaller beaches, and you don't need to pay to do that. Hang on, Bobcat. I've got to approve that for some strange reason. What did you say that was so offensive? Oh, the word kill. Okay, yeah. I've had thrumbos kill themselves in my trap quarters. Oh, yeah, I've had that too. Yeah, plenty of good meat on them. And you get a thrumbo horn. Boy, are those things valuable. I like them. We've made more than a few pants. We made 2. Yes, I'm sorry if that was confusing. You'll learn to keep up, Nathan. I'm going to say things like that constantly. But, I guess 2 is a few pairs of pants. If you want to define a few as 3, that's fine. You could also say I made a couple of pairs of pants. I think we made 2. I might have just made 1. I see an extra pair of pants here, so I'm going to assume we made 1 more pair of pants at some point. And P.S. Green, when are you going home? I'm getting bored with you. 1.5 days. Oh, like really, really soon. Good, because you contribute no value here. You're completely valueless in our community. And you got free pants off of us. We clothed you. We paid for that. We went out and we killed the animals and we skinned the animals. That took time out of our lives. Oh, Lord, another quest. Okay, what do we got? Theodore Bosculslow deserted the army. Oh, no, this is the quest where we could turn against the Empire. No, I won't be doing that. No, I like the Empire. I don't know why. I've never done that quest. But I just feel that's the harder route to go down. And I might mess around with it someday, but not today. So no, we won't be doing that quest. Willow says, however many is more than 1 is a couple. Yeah, I mean, a couple is technically 2. I mean, I suppose that's the definition of it. But I say a couple for 3 or 4 or 5 things. I would have no problem doing that. I always wonder when people without beaches choose our beaches, what factors they look for. What is your beach? Is it Florida? Are you in Florida? Remind me if you're in Florida. Because I can tell you why we choose Florida beaches. I can absolutely tell you that. If you're from the Northeast, I can tell you exactly why. First of all, you have real beach. We don't, again, we use the term beach in a very broad and vague sense here. Big waves go to the West Coast. Yeah, I'm indifferent on the wave thing. I thought the seaside at Ocean City was big waves until I went to North Carolina last year and drove out the Outer Banks. Do any of these quests have multiple outcomes? No. No, there are multiple rewards now. That's something new that they added recently. So there's not multiple outcomes. You're going to do the thing. I mean, you could fail. That I suppose the multiple outcome is you will succeed or fail. And I failed a few. There was a couple I could remember where I had to keep some animals around the colony, and they accidentally got eaten by lynxes, which happens. That's going to happen. I'm in Nevada, so our beaches are dry beaches. Yes, I imagine they're very dry. South Jersey. Okay. I don't know. I've never been to South Jersey beaches, so I don't know why people choose that. Florida beaches are kind of self-explanatory. They're gorgeous, and the water is like bath water. It is so deliciously warm. It's just lovely. We never have warm water here. Doesn't matter how hot the summer is. We just never have warm water in the Northeast. So you still have to kind of get into the water a few steps at a time or dive right in like a maniac. Either way works. But we almost never have warm water here. It's very, very rare. But we went down to Florida, and you can just walk right in. It's like a bathtub. It's so wonderful there. New Mexico has no beaches. We're landlocked. Yes, very, very landlocked there. Deliciously warm. Yes, Nathan, I will say that again, because when you come from my area and you are used to brain shivering cold for your beach, your beach where you're supposed to be, relaxing and lying out on the sun and all that, and then it's just ridiculously cold in the water. Legua, could you actually go refuel that, please? Speaking of fueling, what am I researching? I'm making a rush for geothermal. Okay, good. That's why the research is taking so long, but that's going to pay off in the long run. A war merchant, you say? Well, darned if I don't have a masterwork great bow to sell you. We'll certainly be interested in having a chat with you, sir. We'll certainly be interested in having a chat with you. For beaches, I prefer North Carolina, less tourists, decent weather, water is comfortable, and you'll find Blackbeard's hidden treasure. Yeah, Mrs. Dave and I were pretty keen on the whole Florida beach thing. We get it. We understand it. Yeah, we were well into the Florida beach. And I am not a sitting out in the sun guy. Let me be very clear about that. Mrs. Dave is. Mrs. Dave likes to just sit in the sun. I do not. I really find that an uncomfortable way to spend time. But I am all about swimming in the ocean. So we both had our needs met there. She could sit out on the beautiful beach all day long, and I was just flopping around in the ocean like some sort of demented seal all day. It was excellent. Lots of Florida drivers who come to us. Now that's odd. Why would a Florida person come to a New Jersey beach? Are your beaches very good? I genuinely don't know. I'm asking that as a legitimate question. I have no idea the quality of South Jersey beaches. I mean, I see like it's a beach community in the summer, Jersey Shore and all that nonsense. But I don't know the quality of it. I can tell you our quality is terrible. If you're looking for a beach community, do not come to the Northeast. We're terrible at beaches. They're mostly rocks. They're mostly rocky coastlines. I would think, if you think Dover is a beach community, then you're in the right place in the Northeast. So we don't really do that. We and I'm not kidding when I say we imported sand. We brought sand to our town so we could put it on what was ostensibly became a beach. I lived in Virginia Beach for a while. We'd go down to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. It was nice. Mrs. Dave has been down there. I have not. So she's been to that beachy kind of area. I have never been down there. So what is the deal with the South Jersey beaches? Is it really beachy? Is it like lots of sand? And I mean, I've seen pictures of it, so I do understand. Agent MOR, welcome. We're talking about beaches, Agent MOR. So we're talking about the quality of beaches and saying that the northeast of the United States is not really beaches. It's mostly rocks. Wildwood, OC, AC, Seaside Heights, each one is different. None are rocky. Yeah, we don't do anything but rocks. We're really good at rocky beaches. Oh, don't let me miss this trader, though. Remind me, was it Kalian? Yeah, Kalian, you're really chit-chatty. You're super chit-chatty. I would love to unload this Masterwork Great Bow on anyone at all who wants to buy it, but I bet you guys want to buy it. Yeah, you do. You're not paying a lot for it. Wow. $36. It's a masterwork. It's a masterwork. I mean, I'm going to sell it to you. Don't get me wrong. Sell off those short bows. Sell off the knife. I'm probably not going to use that. Sell off all of these weapons that we took off of people who tried to kill us. Do not sell the venom fangs. Sell off the ambrosia. We don't need drugs in the community immediately. Now, what have you got? You've got a panther. Do I want to buy a panther? I'm kind of feeling I might want to buy a panther. Do you have any other better weapons? No, because we're way too early in the game right now. You're just not going to have any good weapons. And you don't. Do I want a panther? I feel I do. I feel I really, really want a panther. Been to Florida beaches for vacation, lived on the Gulf Coast of southern Texas, little island off the coast, interesting, very warm, could camp out for the night. Yeah, I always kind of forget that Texas has like lots of beaches. I mean, I much like the Germany thing, I kind of forget where they are geographically, and they are on a coast. Like there's water right there. Who doesn't want the panther? I have the venom fangs sent to sell. Really? Oh, I do. Oh, wow. Good call there. I must have just... I'm going through and accidentally... Thank God you saw that. Wow. Good one, Bobcat. Who? All right. I got to concentrate here for a sec. I don't want to be selling my venom fangs before I get them installed here. It really just comes down to, do I want a panther? I'm actually going with a broad no, because I really want the money more than anything. It's nice that you came by with a panther. If you had a matching set where I could breed more panthers, I could get a... they only have male rhinoceroses too. Yeah, you know what? I'm just taking your money. Okay, one more time, just checking. Venom fangs, 0. Not up for sale. Okay, good. Do that. Yeah, go ahead and make that trade. Thank you, Bobcat. Well done. Well done. Pantheon of Panthers. That would be very good. Yeah, well, if they'd had a matching set, I might have been more interested. If they'd had a male and a female and I could get more panthers, because that's how biology works, I would have been much more interested in that. What I will do... How much wood do I have kicking around? Some. Not no wood. I'm going to set up 3 beds here. Ostensibly, this will be either 4 beds. I've got the room for it. So 4 beds. This is either going to be a prison or it's going to be a hospital. I haven't made that decision yet. I might just build both. Who knows? But I'm going to get that earmarked. We're going to get that rocking and rolling along there. Really largely waiting for geothermal power to be researched, because I've got a couple of good close by ones. There's one right up there. There's another one around here that I sort of vaguely remember existing. I'll find it at some point. There's a couple of them kicking around. But that, I think, with virtually nothing done... Oh, hang on. There's another quest. Hang on. I'm not ending yet. Permission to stay at Stabby's Hope for 19 days. They'll work and fight. Okay, they will work and fight. That is good. Vector and another desperate refugee. So I got to take both of them. They may offer to join me. They may not. And they may also... I've actually done this quest. They didn't join in my little sort of side playthrough. So I took these guys in. They may or may not join. They didn't join. But way later... Like a game year later, they sent me a really good reward, and I don't remember what it was. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them. It's going to be a long time, 19 days, but they will work. They will work and fight. So it's not like they're just warm bodies. Probably going to have to up the food count around here. I'm just going to do that right now, just so I remember to. So why don't we get, say, 30 food in place? I just sold all my weapons, too. I could go buy them back, but I just sold all my weapons. We'll make more. We'll make more. That is where I'm going to call the stream for today. Good. We got 2 new people showing up who may or may not be really excited about wearing pants. We shall see. That moment when someone shows up and they hype you up to trade and they don't have anything you want. I mean, they had the Panther. The Panther was good, but I'd like to have matching Panthers, because then I could breed Panthers and then sell Panthers, possibly back to the same vendor. But guys, that is where I'm going to check out of this stream for today. Thank you guys so much for coming by. So much for coming by. I love playing RimWorld with you guys. It's such a great crowd. We always have a great crowd here. It's always an incredibly cool crowd here, and I look forward to doing this. You know I look forward to doing this. And you know how much it means for you guys to come along. Because I really, really... I know, Nathan, it's fine, it's fine. Nathan, it's at 2. Just in case this isn't clear. I know there's a whole thing on YouTube where it's very tricky to put up it in advance, but it's always at 2 on Fridays and Saturdays. So hopefully next time you can make it earlier. And even if you don't, I'm just happy you're here, man. I'm happy all you guys are here. I respect the fact that you take time out of your lives to come and watch this silliness, and I love doing it for you. I absolutely love doing it for you. We'll do Friday next week with more House Flipper. Saturday next week with some more RimWorld. Apart from that, you know where to find me. I'm not hiding, so I will check you guys out later. Thank you so much.